Hi everyone, it's Tracy Learn.
And Peter Murray. Good morning, Tracy.
Good morning, Peter. And today we're going to be talking about mainstream media and the adoption of Bitcoin.
Yes, and yeah, mainstream media are covering Bitcoin news and related topics, fintech news, Ethereum news, altcoin news, and all kinds of news relating to our cryptocurrency world.
Yes, and you know what? They actually do have quite a big impact because they are the connection to the greater community. And of late, we have seen so many articles come through. I mean, Bloomberg, CNBC, BBC News, Reuters. I mean, Wall Street Journal, all of these, and of course, Bit Media, and all of these.
Yes, they're all following us now.
Yes. And you know what the exciting thing is, that there's news every single day coming from these outlets. So it means that people are going to start seeing the word Bitcoin, and they're going to see it more often, and it's going to pique their interest, and that's really what we need.
Well, that's one of the things that's underpinning this market, the fact that information about it is starting to be available. And I mean, how many times have we said the first thing you need to do when you get involved in the Bitcoin world is to educate yourself? Now we're getting news feeds giving us real-time information on what's happening in the markets. So anybody trading Bitcoins or involved in Bitcoin businesses, this is important to them to have this feed of information. Just all part of Bitcoin becoming a mainstream currency, really.
Yes, and of course, as we've just said before, media does play a very, very important role. But there are negative ways that Bitcoin is being reported, as well as positive. So it just depends on what the viewer or the listener is going to hear first.
Well, one of the famous things that Donald Trump said, there's no such thing as bad news, or bad media exposure. All exposure is good exposure. So I suppose, to get the word of, what's happening in Bitcoin out there, the good news and the bad news should be reported at the same time, and it has been. And usually, like in any market, yes, I think, like you say, that the good news is the core proposition of what Bitcoin is, and those are the things.
Yes, exactly. So there's a lot that's actually happening now. And of course, there's a lot of talk about the freedom from banks, financial independence, democratization of the financial system. I mean, we're seeing a lot of this now, Peter.
Yes.
But of course, it did take the bad news to attract attention. And of course, it was Silk Road, which was an online black market and the first modern darknet market. And a chap by the name of Ross William Ulbricht was actually sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. And this did make the news because Silk Road was all about, drugs.
Well, the thing is, the news lives on bad news, on hype, bad news, bad things happening. This is the news that we see forever. If there's a fire, it's in the news. If somebody does something good, you don't really see it in the news. So, this is all part of reporting, and sensation sells newspapers. It's all the news. That's always been the way it's been.
And of course, one of the biggest things that actually happened was MtGox, and it was a Bitcoin exchange that was based in Japan, Tokyo in Japan. And, towards 2013, we started to see a rise in Bitcoin adoption and certainly the price. And then MtGox was handling about 70% of all Bitcoin transactions worldwide. And the next minute, 850,000 Bitcoins belonging to customers and the company were actually stolen from a hot wallet.
Well, how many times have we said, don't leave your money in a hot wallet? I'm not going to say it again. There's a link below this video where you can go and get yourself a Swiss bank in your pocket wallet that is extremely safe. The software generates your private key, which keeps it in your possession, nobody else's. There's no central server or central authority that holds your money. It's all you. And, this was highlighted by the MtGox thing, and still today people keep their money in hot wallets. So it's amazing to me. But this was the major news, and this really put Bitcoin reporting on the map. MtGox.
Yes, and you know what the interesting thing to me is that money was kind of dripped out of those wallets from the late 2011. So it was a slow process. I mean, that's interesting. It was taken by stealth. But
Yeah.
let's just talk about what's happening recently. I mean, we are seeing articles every single day coming through. And one of the main things that people are obviously talking about and media outlets are talking about is the rise or the fall of the Bitcoin price and value.
Yes, I mean, the reason for this is there's so many people trading and speculating in Bitcoin. You know, this is what people want to see. What are the reasons why the price is going up? What's the price is going to do next? You know, these are the main questions in people's minds once they get involved in a market like this.
And the other thing that people are very, very interested in is other people's opinion on where the Bitcoin price is going to be. So the Bitcoin price predictions.
They're absolutely. But also, you know, a lot of fundamental news, such as government adoption in Japan, and with the Japanese made Bitcoin a legal payment system. And, you know, there's many other examples of this, all the big companies getting involved in all kinds of blockchain projects, Bitcoin projects, and things like that. So, you know, this is what media has been covering, and that's why it's great. And like you say, you know, investor adoption. Remember the Bitcoin ETF and how much press that used to get? So, you know, this is all in the news.
The other thing that's in the news is about the altcoins, the other cryptocurrencies that are rising in value. Ethereum, Dash, Monero, Litecoin, just to name a few.
Yes, and you know, again, people are speculating in all these coins and investing in them, so they want to know. They're looking for some guru, some news guru predicting where the price will be. So I'm wondering where the mad money guy from Bitcoin is going to come from, the Jim Cramer of Bitcoin.
Yes. And, you know, as you actually mentioned, these media outlets, we are getting news every single day from them. And as a result, consumer adoption will grow. And we are seeing that consumer adoption is growing.
Yes. And, you know, education is vital. And the first thing, I've said it so many times, if you get involved in this market, the main thing you need to do is educate yourself. Now, people always ask, you know, how do I educate myself, you know, and, you know, what will it cost me? And here's the thing. Firstly, it will cost you zero, because all you need to do is go down below this video now to the button that says subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to our Facebook page, like it, and go to our blog and subscribe to our mailing list. And also download our app from the App Store. And you will be totally introduced to Bitcoin, and you will get a free education. And you know, so just go do it.
You know, the other thing that I just want to add from personal experience, and I know that you feel the same way. You know, if we weren't watching the news and watching the trends and seeing what's going on around us, I mean, we've made decisions because of that.
Absolutely. If you're involved in a business, you need to know what's going on in the industry. And the easiest way to know what's going on in this industry is to follow Bit Media. That's I can say that because we follow everything and we report on everything. So that is very, very easy. And you know, here's a question for you, and we'd love to hear your comment below. Tell us, how were you introduced to Bitcoin? How did you find out about it? Please let us know in the comments below.
Yes, and also just please join our community. There's going to be some links at the bottom of this video, but we're on YouTube, Facebook, we're on SoundCloud, Instagram, and our audience and our community is growing.
Love to hear from you.
Indeed. So that's the video for today, and we'll chat again soon.
We'll chat again soon. Ciao, ciao.
Cheerio.